Welcome to another episode of Side Hustle Saturdays. Today I have Martine. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yes, you are.
Excellent. I watched one of your lives that you sent me and I thought you were absolutely energetic and I loved it. So I'm so excited to have you here today. I'm going to turn it over to you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what's your side hustle?
Thank you, Tina Marie. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for those of you watching, listening. My name is Martine Cadet. I am actually from the Caribbean. I'm a Caribbean girl. I am Haitian. My first native language, I speak French. So if you're going to hear a little bit of an accent, so that is why I am from Haiti. My parents are Haitian. I grew up in Africa, part of my life, and grew up in Haiti and came to the United States to go to college. And so I'm a mom. I have two kids. My daughter is 14, teenager on TikTok. I have a son. I'm trying to figure out this TikTok thing. I still haven't figured it out yet. But yeah, so I have a teen and I have an 8-year-old son. I work a 9 to 5. I've been with my company for about a little bit over 15 years now. And so I've been online since 2015, investing in building my brand since 2015. And so today I am coaching other female coaches on how to use social media organically. And I love it. Love it.
Awesome. So did you start off with the social media 4 years ago? Was it kind of a gradual evolution?
Oh no, I did not start like this yesterday. You know how it is with the entrepreneurial journey. First of all, let me tell you, I started this whole entrepreneurial journey just because I hit a plateau at my corporate job. And anybody that would hear about the job that I had would be like, Martine, you're crazy. Why would you invest your life, your money, or whatever you have, your energy into creating your own thing when you have such a great job? And what was my job for a decade plus? I was a product manager for my corporate job, and I was traveling to China, Hong Kong, Vietnam, Bangkok, India, Paris, London. I mean, you name it. Business class, beautiful hotels, beautiful restaurants, creating products. And I just hit a plateau. I was on my way back from India. I remember clearly, had a complete anxiety attack on the plane, came back home, scheduled an appointment with my doctor and said, I don't know what happened to me. I was crying throughout the entire 13 hours of the flight. This is not my first time traveling like this. What's going on? And she said to me, well, you need to dive in and see if this is really what you want to do. It seems like you're not energized anymore for it. And I took that very seriously. And so I decided to have a conversation with my VP at work and say to him that I wanted a break. I did not want to leave the job. I liked the job, but I needed a break. Not telling him that it's because I was trying to find myself, just because I'm like, it's just not fulfilling me anymore. But deep inside, I knew that there was a calling happening for me. I just did not know what it was. I did not know how I was going to start it, but I just knew that that was it. And that, you know, trying to get that next promotion, that next increase in corporate America wasn't it anymore for me. And it was scary. It was a scary feeling. Throughout that process of me trying to figure myself out, I went back and thought about, you know, when did I really always wanted to be an entrepreneur? Because I always had it in me. It's just that, you know, I never knew what to do. And so I remember I was 13 years old when I actually had my first business back in Haiti with my girlfriend. We were making Rice Krispie treats at home and selling them at school. And so I remember that moment and I'm like, wait a minute, I remember starting my own business back then. I can do this. And so, it brought me back, and I remember doing MLMs at some point, trying to find my way, all of this throughout working my day job and traveling all over the world. So I've always tapped into it, but never really got serious with it until I hit that plateau. And so what ended up happening at my corporate job, I've been able to kind of demote myself in a way so that I don't have to travel so much. So that's the scary part, because I knew that I was jeopardizing my career now in corporate America. Like if I, because I was basically saying, don't put me in the spotlight no more. I'm not interested in trying to be a director or whatever. I just want to step back, right? And it was a risk, right? Because I went to college, I got my master's, I've invested a lot in my education to get there, yet I'm stopping. And so 2015 was the year that I decided to research. And I fell in love with the internet. Not that I didn't know it existed. It's just that I was like, okay, this is the only time I got to be online after work to do research, right? And find out what I want to do. So I tapped into Pinterest. I started reading blogs. I got into YouTube, just binge watching all day, every day, right? And I'm like, this is crazy. There's so much in this internet thing. What is this, right? And so I decided to, again, just dive in with the desire. I was like, I'm not going to worry about how I'm going to do this. I'm just going to continue to invest in that desire. And so I did. And I did not start by being a social media coach. I started by creating my own handmade jewelry line out of t-shirt yarn. I was cutting t-shirts, pulling it as a yarn, and I'm like, I'm going to make jewelry out of that. I had just bought my house. Budget was tight, mortgage, a new lifestyle. I'm like, okay, I still want to have beautiful jewelry. I got into thrift shopping. I opened up a Poshmark account. I made $4,000 in that year on Poshmark, just selling, my kids' clothes that they were not wearing when they were little. And I'm like, okay, I can, sell that on Poshmark. I did well with that. So I was just trying things, right? But all in all, Tina Marie, it was just the part that really opened up my eyes and my heart is the marketing side, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm able to generate income just by showing up on this internet thing. And so as I was creating my jewelry, I needed buyers. And remember, I'm still at my day job. So I'm doing this on my lunch break. I'm doing this early in the morning before I get ready to go to work. I'm doing this on the weekends, focusing on taking pictures of the product or whatever, right? And so I'm like, okay, I need more buyers. What do I do? How do I market myself? Mind you, I went to college for hospitality management, nothing that had to do with marketing, right? And my husband told me one day back in late 2015, he's like, have you heard of Instagram? I'm like, what is that? And that was it. I was like, this is great. And waking up earlier than usual just to be able to take pictures of myself with wearing my jewelry, with my phone. My husband was taking my pictures to post them on Instagram so that I can, promote them for sale. I figured out a way to become a vendor at vendor fairs. The how just came as I was investing myself into wanting this to work. But it happened quickly where I realized that it was an expensive hobby. And I'm like, okay, I am able, right, to go to work every single day, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, be able to get on the train, because I'm in New Jersey, get on the train, get to New York City so that I could be at events. I ended up in New York Fashion Week because I became a fashion blogger because of the jewelry. People started reaching out to me and whatnot. So I was doing all these things, but yet coming back home very, very late. And that's when it hit me. Mid 2016, I said, wait, this could be something real. Okay. I am able to have visibility with this internet and social media thing organically. I didn't run ads, none of this. I said, I'm going to continue, but I need to have an intention behind it. I have to be building a business. And so I focused on really creating a brand. And remember, I come from a corporate background that is in product development. And so I've always been exposed to branding and packaging and all that stuff and visual stuff as far as product. And so I focused on making sure that I position myself on Facebook, on Instagram, so that you get that when you see me, right? And 2018, I want to say it was October of 2017, I got the email from Facebook. And I thought it was a spam. It came in my Gmail. And this guy, Chris, says, hey, my name is Chris. I'm from Facebook headquarters. I want to send you an exclusive link to apply to become one of our speakers at a event that we're having in your local town. And Tina Marie, I looked at that email. I was like, no, 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 no. This can't be real. This is a complete spam. There's no way. I'm this girl from Jersey that's working a day job, that's hustling this. Is this real? And it was real. And so I went on, filled out the application. It was a long application, stayed up very late to fill it out, sent it out. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to let it be. If it's good, it's good. If it happens, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. A week later or so, I got an email back saying, we got your application. We would like to have a call with you. We would like to move forward with the next step. And I'm like, oh my God, right? And so at that point, I'm still, trying to figure myself out. I'm like, I'm not going to give up on my hustle of being online, on showing up on the internet. I'm just going to keep going. And I got on the call with Facebook. It was about 45-minute call. So much fun. I had notes prepared, never looked at the notes. I just genuinely shared what I was doing with the platform to gain visibility. And before the call ended, I said, I need to ask a question. I don't know if you guys are going to select me or not, but why did you pick me, right? And I'm sharing this because I know a lot of us, we go on Instagram, we go on Facebook, we go on YouTube, and we feel like there's no traction. But the truth is people are consuming your content, okay? And so the answer I got from Facebook was, your content is great. You're positioning yourself aligned with your messaging. Everything is cohesive. It makes sense. You're using all the features well. And I'm like, that's interesting, because there's been many times where I'm like, this is not working because I'm not getting likes and I'm not getting new followers. Okay. And that's back in late 2017, because I got the email confirming that I would be one of the 4 speakers at their event. And it happened in March of 2018. It's on my Facebook. And I was one of the speakers. And that is when it all hit me. That's when I said, wait a second. This was meant to be. This happened. What am I going to do with this now? And so I took a break. And I was tired too with the hustling of my day job and not really understanding what I was doing, right? So I took a break and I challenged myself to identify what is it that I was good at, okay? And back then I was like, I don't need no coach. There's YouTube, there's Google. I was wrong, but I did it anyway. I was like, I'm going to binge watch YouTube. I'm going to listen to podcasts as much as I can, read books. I'm going to figure this out. And I became a social media manager. And so because of my love of design in my day job, and I'm bringing this up because a lot of my friends and clients, sometimes most of them work day jobs and they're building a side hustle and they're not too crazy about their jobs anymore. I've been there, right? I always say to them, look at what's happening in your day job. Look at the skill sets that you've been able to develop there, and look at how you can implement that into your business. And because that's what I did. And so because I was exposed to design and I loved it at work, I was like, how can I bring that in and my love of the internet together and become something? And that something became a social media manager. And so I became a social media manager for about 1.5 to 2 years. I did very well in positioning me as the product to attract clients, right? So I was managing the content of almost 18 clients full time while working my day job. And it was a lot. I was doing it. I was able to find great resources to schedule the content, but I still had to sit behind the computer and create the content. I still had to create the strategy for them because they hired me because they didn't want to deal with social media, right? And so I enjoyed being able to coach them in a way and telling them, send me that type of video, do this, do that, so that I could create it. I'm pretty much self-taught, right? I ended up investing in Final Cut to edit videos, learned that, how to do that. But then it hit me again. I said, okay, I can continue to get clients and create content, but what is really exciting me? What do I want to do in this world? What is the 10-year vision that I have? Do I want to leave this day job? Am I doing this to scale it to become a real business? So all of this came in my head, and I said, this is time for me to invest in myself. It is time for me to invest in my mindset. It is time for me to invest in structuring myself. And so I did, and invested in my first coach. I invested in my first business coach while working my day job. And it really, really helped me out. And I have to say, if I had invested in that coach back in 2015 when I was just having that desire, I probably would have gotten, the structure and the results that I've gotten. But I have to say that the experience of me trying to do it on my own and really finding what it is that I love by myself and being able to speak to that coach accordingly about it helped me a lot. So for anyone that's like exhausted about their hustle and feeling like every time they take a step forward, it feels like 10 steps back, I don't want them to feel that way, because I used to feel that way too. I look at them as experiences, and I look at them as they needed to happen in order for you to take that next step. And that's what happened with me. And so I worked very hard with my coaches, because I ended up investing in several of them, to be able to build myself, my mindset, my business plan, that I'm confident today to say that it is definitely something that I'm building for the future. It's no longer this thing that's great and fun and exciting to do. It is a business. It is a business that's impacting others and many more, right? And so today, what I do, I ended up creating my own digital media boutique where I take on clients that need me to create their content. So I still do that through my media boutique. But I also coach female coaches on how to use their Instagram and Facebook, particularly organically, in order for them to funnel through their ideal clients into a Facebook group that they can convert. And all of this is through my relationship marketing system that I've developed for myself. So everything that I coach my clients with are things that I've done myself, and I've gotten results with. And so that is what I do today. And that's how I came to this place.
I love it. I have so many questions, but I'm going to start with the first one. Is I'm really happy that you mentioned in your words was this is becoming an expensive hobby. A lot of people in my audience and myself exactly in my first couple of years was like, okay, this is becoming an expensive hobby. What is going on? So what was the mindset shift to decide to hire a coach?
That's a very good question. It took me about 4 months of discovery of different coaches before I hit to be with the one that I invested in. The mindset shift was I can spend time on YouTube as much as I have done, and try to piece everything together and hoping that it's going to work. And I decided and realized that hope wasn't a strategy that was going to work anymore for me. If I really wanted to have a breakthrough, have something that I could work with and know that I can get to a result, I needed someone to support me with it. I had a lot of money mindset blocks, things going on. I needed to structure me personally. Remember, I'm a mom. My job, although was not as complicated as it was when I was traveling all over the world, it was still demanding. So I had to make sure that I was not jeopardizing my employer. Okay. So I needed the mindset shift that I had was if I need to continue and become a successful business owner that I want to be, I cannot figure this out on my own. I need somebody that's been there, somebody, and that was all the criterias really that I truly looked into when I was going through the discovery of who would be my coach. Have they been there? Are they going to understand who I am, where I'm trying to get to? And I'm bringing this up because I know a lot of people that show up on Instagram or on Facebook that are coaches. They're forgetting that their ideal clients need to see and hear that they've been there too. And so that's how I hired my coaches. All of my coaches did a very good job presenting themselves where I felt trusted that they understood where I was. And I came across coaches that I totally felt disconnected. And that is why my experience myself on making sure that I hire the right coach was built on relationship marketing, is why I have that as my signature coaching for my coaches to do, because it was all about the relationship. So I made the mindset shift of investing in a coach because I knew that I was not going to be able to take the next step by myself. I probably could, but I wouldn't be with you right now. It probably would have I would probably be watching YouTube now, right? Trying to figure it out again. And so it was important. It was needed. And I knew at the time it was the right time to do it. And it was.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know juggling, multiple jobs for you, it was a corporate job and being a mom. A struggle for my audience being multi-passionate is the two biggest obstacles, right? Is I don't have the time and I don't have the money to hire someone to help me. It doesn't necessarily have to be a coach. Maybe it's like hiring a VA to take some stuff off their plate or hiring a social media manager to develop that. What would you say, not just from your experience, but also as a coach, what made you decide or make the time? I know the mindset shift was I need a coach to accelerate, but how did you find the time to do it as well?
Great question, because I know I met a lot of coaches that were scheduling discovery calls with me at the time that I'd be at work. And I'm like, okay, you're not the coach for me. but how did I find the time? I made sure that I leveraged as much as I could. I remember working with my coach and saying to her, we're going to have to work during my lunch hour. I will be in my car. Is that going to work with you? We had times where it was a compromise from my side and a commitment from my part, and her wanting to show up for me accordingly, right? But it first started with me saying, I'm going to commit myself to doing this. And it meant waking up 2 hours earlier than usual just to be able to work on the work that I was supposed to do, right? It also meant, not doing activities that I used to do on the weekends, hanging out with girlfriends all the time or going out, all the time. My husband and I had to adjust our night outs, and things like that, and making the time. And also the first thing that my first coach made me do, and it was my first haha moment, is tracking my activities for 7 days straight. And I did that. It was very exhausting to do. But at the end, I realized that I spent way too much time cleaning my kitchen, to the point where I told my kids, I'm like, you guys can help me out. And because when I added the time that I'm cleaning my kitchen throughout the week, it was a good 30 minutes. And I'm like, that 30 minutes I could be spending on a call with a new client potentially, right? And so the struggle we have when we say we don't have time, we all have 24 hours. And that's what I tell my clients when they say to me, I don't got time to be on Instagram. I don't got time. I said, I understand. Okay. I have 24 hours. You have 24 hours too. The question is, what do you do during that 24 hours?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. And then ask yourself, what are your intentions? Okay. For that week, for that day. And then from there, I'm not saying sacrifice, spending time with your kids. No, 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 no. In fact, what I'm saying is make sure you put your top commitments up front. Identify where you have to spend time and where can you adjust. Because working a 9 to 5 and building a side hustle it doesn't require more time. It doesn't require more money, I say. Because believe it or not, I find myself more productive and more efficient with less time. So when you work a 9 to 5 and you're building a hustle on the side, you're going to understand how valuable you are. Early on in my business, I used to answer emails and text messages from my social media clients during work hours. I would run in the stall in the bathroom and answer them until one of my coaches said, you need to stop. You're exhausting yourself. They need to know that you have business hours. You need to build your business hours. You have to be disciplined. You have to stick to your commitment and say to yourself, this is happening after dinner with my family, after work. And you know what's going to happen? The people that cannot commit to that with you and help you, they're just not going to be for you. But there are going to be so many people that will be like, that's fine. Let's do the call at 9 o'clock at night. That's fine. Let's meet on Sunday. No worries. We'll work it out. They will come through. So, because at first I used to be very intimidated by people coming to me and saying, I don't work on Sundays, sorry. I'm like, well, I work a 9 to 5. I cannot meet you on a Tuesday at 11 o'clock in the morning. I just can't.
Yeah.
So, I used to feel offended about it. I'm like, that's not fair. But now I know, I'm like, you know what? That's just because we weren't meant to be, and that's okay. So as far as time, you can make the time. It's the question of how committed are you to wanting to invest in this desire of yours to invest in building this side hustle, because it's just for now. It's just for now.
Yeah.
And if you have the right intentions, which I'm sure you do, it will turn itself around. And I believe strongly that we are to run our businesses and not let our business run us.
I love that you said that. I'm such a big proponent of that. Why did we get in business anyways? We wanted time freedom and financial freedom. So why are you working your business like it's a job? It should not feel that way. So set it up.
Set it up. And it's interesting you mentioned that, Tina Marie, not looking at your business, not like a job. I was there too. I remember in the beginning, I felt like the employee of my job. Mm-hmm. I felt like, oh my God, I got to do this for my business. Like I felt my business was my boss, like at work. Mm-hmm. And then my husband that called me out on it. He's like, because he's a musician, he's in the creative arts and he's in business for himself. And he's like, wait, are you enjoying this? You look so stressed out showing up on this computer right now. Like you're at your job. Like you don't feel like doing it. Like you have to do it. If you're not going to enjoy it, to your point, he was like, what's the point? We have to make sure that we build something that we love, because otherwise there's no point.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing so much knowledge and your path. I'd like to ask all my interviewees, what was like the biggest lesson you learned through your whole journey? Or what is one tip you'd like to leave someone who wants to start into entrepreneurship?
Oh, I love that. Self-worth. Build that self-worth. And I'm bringing this up because I know as a social media coach, I hear a lot of people come to me and say, well, she's doing it like this. She has a lot of followers. This whole comparison thing happens. And It happens. It's social media. Um, you're going to feel a certain type of way, you know, when somebody unfollows you that you didn't think would unfollow you. You're going to feel a certain type of way when you think you posted something that was hot on Instagram and nobody liked it. I want to say, if you're starting out, build that self-worth. You are enough. And there's a lot of things that you know right now. You don't need to wait for others to validate it. Okay? You don't need others to say to you, yes, you're going to succeed, or no, you're going to succeed. The question is, do you believe that you got it in you? Because if you don't believe it yourself in your heart, you're going to be so vulnerable, and you're gonna, this whole judgment feeling of showing up online to promote your business and coming from a place of service, whether you're selling products or you're selling services, it's just not gonna work. You have, if you're thinking of starting, I want you to take the time to dive in deep and ask yourself, do I truly believe that I can do this? Am I doing this because I want to impact other people, or am I doing this because I want to make it a broadcasting station for myself so that it's a popularity, you know, contest type of thing? Because it's not. When you're a business owner, it's about your clients, it's about your community, it's about you impacting lives. And so you are able to do it only if you believe inside of your heart that you have it in you, which you do, and all of us do. Okay, so stop comparing yourself to other people. Believe in you, that your way is going to attract your right people, period. And yes, you're going to come across 10, 15 other people that are doing what you're doing, but what people buy, they don't buy the soap. I say that all the time. I say they don't buy the soap. They buy the result of being able to have something that smells good in their hands and get rid of bacteria. So they buy the experience. They don't buy they don't buy the soap. So they're going to buy you, who you are, right? And the way you come across. And the only way you can make that happen for you is by showing up genuinely. And the only way you show up genuinely is by believing in yourself. Because then you're not going to give up, you know what? And you're going to show up for real for your people, right? And so believe in yourself. Self-worth, 100% is where you need to invest your energy in making sure that you master that first.
I love it. I think that's super important. It's one of the reasons why people don't show up consistently. It's the reason why people don't really connect with their ideal clients or their niche, and they don't know what to post, is they don't have that inner self worth, or I don't want to say that, but they don't believe it, but they need to believe it, because everybody has gifts. And I say it all the time. I'm one in a million business coaches out there. I'm one in 1,000 mindset coaches out there. But my message is going to hit a certain person that another mindset coach won't. So whatever your gift is, whatever your skill is, believe that there is enough clients out there, abundance mindset, that will connect with your message and connect with you and need your help. So show up and help people and make that impact. So if anybody wanted to connect with you that's watching, or needs social media, where can they find you and how can they work with you?
Oh, thank you. Yes, you can find me on my website, martinecadet.com. From there, you'll be prompted to choose to connect with me in my private free Facebook group. It's called Female Coaches Getting Clients with Social Media Organically. In there, I show up occasionally. We support each other when it comes to social media, business mindset, and whatnot. And I occasionally, actually very soon, I'm rerunning my Instagram engagement challenge for female coaches, where I break down for 5 days for free how I use the app, the exact things that I do in order for me to build my community using the app. And so I have that happening. It's a great challenge. And when you connect with me, you can also look into either schedule a free session with me, a 30-minute session where we're going to talk about your 3 top struggles when it comes to social media. And my goal is to let you be able to leave the call with actions that you can take right away and have results right away and unlock you right there and then. You could do that. And I also obviously coach, and I have a group coaching program. There's a lot going on. And I would say the best way to really have visibility to it all would be to come in my Facebook group, where I show up occasionally and be able to support you better.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Martine, for sharing your wisdom, sharing your journey with all of us. If you feel like you're struggling with time, I do have a time tracker for you. I'll put that down in the show notes so you can see if you are cleaning your kitchen too much or on social media too much, and you can actually be intentional with your time. We're going to sign off. Put in the comments, let us know any aha moments you have or any questions that you have for Martine. We'll make sure to tag her so she can answer your questions. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any more Side Hustle Saturday series of episodes. Our legal series also comes out every other Monday. And my weekly episodes where I share my personal entrepreneur journey, biz tips, and mindset tips. All right, you guys have a great day.